Okay, let's unpack this. Have you felt that chill in the air, maybe a bit earlier than usual? What if that's like a preview of something much bigger? Today, we're doing a deep dive into the North Pole's polar vortex and, what it might mean for your winter, this coming winter, 2020, 2026.
Yeah, exactly. Our mission today really is to explore why this unusually weak polar vortex we're seeing, reinforced by La Nina developing, why that signals a possibly colder, snowier winter for some areas, and what it means for you. But first, let's just quickly clear something up. The polar vortex itself, it's not new, right? It's basically this permanent, huge area of low pressure, swirling cold air around the poles, goes way up, surface right into the stratosphere.
Okay.
And its strength, that's the key. It dictates if that frigid air stays put or if it spills south.
Right, so it's like a gatekeeper for the cold. And you mentioned strength. What makes it weak versus strong? Like when it's strong, you said it keeps the cold in, like a tight barrier. That's the positive. Arctic oscillation.
Exactly, yeah. Positive AO, strong vortex, cold air stays mostly locked up north. But when it weakens, that's the negative AO. Well, here's where it gets really interesting for us down here. The jet stream, it gets all wavy and buckled. And that lets these big chunks of intensely cold polar air just plunge south.
Yeah.
Right into the mid-latitude.
So the barrier breaks down, essentially.
Pretty much. Think of it like the Arctic's bouncer, taking a coffee break. Lets all the cold air crash the party down south. And the thing is, the vortex right now, for early fall 2025, it's already unusually weak and disrupted. That's not typical for this time of year.
Okay, why is that happening now?
It seems to be mostly due to persistent high-pressure ridging. Big areas of high pressure pushing up into the Arctic, especially over places like Greenland and the Pacific. It sort of disrupts the flow.
And we felt that already, haven't we? That weakness, it led to that cold snap. September 3rd to 7th. Central and eastern U.S. saw temperatures quite a bit below normal. I think some places even had frost up north.
That's right. That's a direct consequence. And it's kind of a preview, potentially, of the pattern that might dominate this winter. And, this whole atmospheric state, it's getting a nudge from another major player.
Ah, okay. What's that?
La Nina. A weak La Nina event that's the cooling of waters in the equatorial Pacific. It looks highly probable. But 71% chance for October through December this year.
71%, okay. And how does La Nina connect to the vortex way up north?
Well, historically, even weak La Nina events, they tend to be negatively correlated with the polar vortex strength, meaning La Nina increases the odds of a weaker vortex. And it also raises the chances for what we call sudden stratospheric warming events, or SSWs.
SSWs, right. Those are the big disruptions high up.
Exactly. Abrupt warming high above the Arctic that can really knock the polar vortex off balance, leading to major cold outbreaks down here weeks later.
Okay, but here's something that seems confusing. We hear the Arctic is warming super fast, like 3 times faster than elsewhere. How does a warmer Arctic lead to more intense cold for us?
Yeah, it seems like a paradox, doesn't it? But here's a surprising connection. That rapid Arctic warming, it actually reduces the temperature difference between the cold pole and the warmer mid-latitudes. And that temperature difference, that's what drives the strength of the jet stream and the polar vortex. Less difference means a weaker, wavier jet stream.
Ah, so the weaker temperature gradient makes the atmospheric fence, the jet stream, flimsier?
Precisely. So ironically, even as the planet warms, on average, this Arctic amplification makes the jet stream more prone to big southward dips, increasing the potential for these severe, localized cold outbreaks in places like North America and Europe.
And this isn't just theory, right? We've seen this happen before.
Oh, absolutely. Think back to winter 2013-2014. Detroit had its snowiest winter ever. The Great Lakes had over 90% ice cover. Or remember January 2019, that brutal cold outbreak. Temperatures hit minus 56 Fahrenheit in Minnesota. Tragically, there were fatalities linked to that cold. Both of those events were strongly linked to a weakened, disrupted polar vortex.
Wow. Okay, so bringing it all together for this winter, 2025-2026, what's the forecast look like based on this weak vortex and La Nina setup for North America?
Well, for North America, the signals point towards a higher probability of these cold air intrusions and potentially enhanced snowfall, especially thinking about the northern U.S., southern Canada, particularly east of the Rockies and around the Great Lakes region, and something to watch. Early snow cover in western Canada, that can sort of pre-chill the air masses heading south later. It's a feedback loop.
Right, reinforces the cold. What about Europe?
Europe's a bit different. Early winter might actually start milder there. But looking towards January 2026, there's a significant risk of a blocking high-pressure system setting up.
Yeah.
that could drive cold northerly winds and bring increased snowfall across northern, central, and even western Europe.
Okay, so different regions, different timings, but the underlying theme is volatility.
That's the key takeaway, yes. The combination. This weak vortex, the persistent high pressure disrupting it, and the developing La Nina. It all points towards a pretty dynamic and volatile winter ahead for the Northern Hemisphere, one that favors these significant cold air outbreaks.
So the real insight here for you listening is that even with overall warming, these intense, localized cold snaps, they aren't really a contradiction. They might actually be a direct consequence, a challenging one, which really raises an important question. As our world keeps changing, are these intense, localized cold winters a kind of new normal we need to anticipate and maybe prepare for differently? Challenging our old assumptions about winter, something to think about.